Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Greenbridge Community Housing South podcast. We're joined today by Rachel Hopkins, Labour MP for Luton South.
Luton South and South Bedfordshire.
South and South Bedfordshire?
Yep, the constituency grew and we've got a little bit of a countryside.
When did it grow?
At the last election in 2024.
Did it really?
Yeah, I've got Whipsnade Zoo, I've got quarries, all part of Luton South and South Bedfordshire now.
Nice, that's a big area.
It is quite big, yeah. And very diverse on every sort of scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why politics and why the Labour Party?
Well, there's a couple of things. So firstly, why politics? And people often think politics is over there and they don't do it. But politics is life.
Yeah.
Because it's everyday things that happen to us all. And it's about our communities and it's about the things that happen.
Yeah.
And overall, people make decisions about those things, whether it's your local council, whether it's the national government. And actually, how do you influence those decisions? And that's politics. So often I'll say to everybody, politics is for everybody. You don't think it is. And often when I'm knocking on doors, I'll chat to people and go, I don't do politics. And I'm like, well, what are you worrying about this week? And they might be worrying about the kids at school or something to do with their housing or paying their bills. All of that is politics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm genuinely, a born and bred Lutonian. I love our town. I want to make sure we get the best for our town.
Yes.
So politics is that. But I was also born into a political family.
Yes.
My grandparents were in the Labour Party. Both my parents were in the Labour Party. Both my parents were local councillors, my mum and my dad. And then obviously my dad was an MP for 22 years in Luton North. I joined the Labour Party on my 15th birthday. So it's in the blood. I love our town. And the Labour Party is the party of ordinary working people. It's a party striving for equality. It's the party that isn't about just free market competition, survival of the fittest. It's got social values. And those Labour values are about what sort of I've always been part of. It's what I've been brought up with. And it's what I try and, support our town with now.
Why should people go out and vote?
Really good question. And when I do visits to schools, particularly, kids just beginning to work out sort of, having your say. All of that is so important. Like I touched on earlier, decisions are made about stuff, whether it's up your street, whether it's, taxes and how much we should or shouldn't pay. A bit of a hot topic there. But if you want to have your say on those things, go and vote.
Right.
Because at an election, there'll be a whole bunch of different people who put themselves forward. Like I say, I'll put myself forward as a Labour candidate, very privileged to do so and very privileged to be elected to represent people. And ultimately, most candidates belong to a political party that you either align with through their values or there'll be enough of the programme they're offering that you go, actually, most of that is what I believe in too. I'm going to vote for them.
Right.
And I just think that means that you have your say. Now, it may mean you don't always get the candidate you want, but you've had your say, and that helps everybody. Because one of the things is, if we know there's a lot of people out there supporting a certain policy or a certain position, or at the last election, things weren't great, we need to rebuild, which is what Labour government's trying to do now, that means that people have got a stake in the game and that they've had their say, but also they can hold us to account. Because ultimately, the biggest, end of year appraisal is like the general election.
Yeah.
So if I
say
I'm going to go out and do stuff on these things, or these are my values, you're going to see them in action, then people can decide whether I've done that at the next election and vote for me or vote for somebody else. And that accountability is democracy, and that is really important.
Right. Explain democracy because not everybody understands what that word means. So can you explain to the viewers, listeners, what that actually means to...
democracy is the fact that we are all citizens in our country and we all have the same rights as everybody else to have our say.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about your background. It doesn't matter if you're not meant to, you don't have to know everything, but you have your say because you have your rights to vote for someone that you want to represent you, and that accountability bit, to be able to be the person you can go to or the person you can agree with or disagree with. And that democracy means that all our citizens are equal and have that equal right to do so. It also means that, like I said before, people have got a stake in the game. It shouldn't be that people just feel that they can't have a say. They haven't got a stake in the game. And I think with elections, turnout has been dropping because I do think people feel a bit apart from everything, and that's our job as politicians, to get out there and be available, be able to have conversations, be able to be held account, try and communicate what we're about, what we're trying to do, and people know that actually we can all participate in society. And democracy is an important part of that, whether it's at a national level for the general election and the national government, or locally. You know, the people who represent you at Luton Council or Central Beds Council are equally part of democracy, and you can change it. If you think someone's done a good job, if you think a party's done a good job, you want to continue voting for them, great. If you don't, you can vote them out. And that's what happened last year at the general election. People were a bit fed up with the government as was under the Conservatives. They wanted to see a change. It's very much a change election. There's a lot of change to come because we're working steadily on it. Because things, you know, we're not in a great shape. But that's how people can take part in democracy. It's really important.
With regard to the state of British politics, it is quite a difficult question. What's your stance on that?
The state of British politics, we've got all day, you know. Don't ask a politician that, we'll go off. Look, a couple of things there. Firstly, it's about people's understanding and making sure that people really are checking what it is they might hear. Because there's so much on social media that fundamentally isn't true. So always fact check, you know, and that's why I put stuff on my website, I put stuff on my social media channels, I write to people when they email me so I can give them genuine information.
Right.
Because sometimes stuff's out there. There's having a different opinion about something, which is one thing, but saying something that is patently not true is another. And look, there's always a bit of spin in politics because we want to make our case in a certain way. But I would really want people to just take a breath sometimes and check
if what they're actually reading or hearing is fact.
Is fact or right. And then there's fact and there's an opinion about a fact.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it. And I just think the rise of social media has been brilliant and awful in equal measure. Because actually there's so much that is quick. I can get what I'm doing out really quickly and I can tell people stuff and people are always on their phones looking at stuff. But again, some of that stuff is sometimes not true or verging on harmful when we see some people who are sadly comfortable with, discriminatory language. Let's put it that way. And, for me, that's that. And that discriminatory language is taken as fact when actually it's a bias that is on display. Do you know what I mean? And actually that's why there's a lot of countering, the people who are saying things that are divisive as well. There's having two different opinions and debating, and there's been completely divisive in our communities. And I'd much prefer we, played the ball, not the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally understand. How do you tackle, or how are we going to tackle inequalities in the town?
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the things we're trying to do. So inequalities comes in a whole range of ways. One of the biggest things that we know in Luton, after a lot to do with the previous government that stripped a lot of money out of public services, is actually about people's income levels and people struggling. And so tackling poverty or just tackling, low wages is something that we're trying to do. Just at the recent budget, we increased the minimum and the living wages because I think inequalities arise when people just don't have enough to sustain themselves, whereas others don't have enough to look after their kids. So we're also doing other things to try and tackle the inequalities for children, where, whether it's free breakfast clubs or bringing a greater access to free school meals, to try and level that playing field for kids, so that there's no real differences. We also know there's a lot of inequalities, whether it's, through social class, whether it's for different ethnic groups, whether it's for different genders. We really do have to focus on taking steps so that people can have a stake and people aren't discriminated against. So part of that, I think the biggest thing is economic inequalities at the moment, and similarly some of the stuff we've touched on, where we're seeing others are using people's differences, which I see as a strength. We see that in our town.
100%.
Diversity is a really good thing. Stronger teams are diverse teams. Stronger communities are diverse communities in many ways. I just think there are some political actors who are just, as I say, we're using difference to divide people rather than trying to bring people together. And that division breeds greater inequalities.
Yes.
And actually, we need to all step up, lift everybody
up at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell us something that the public might not necessarily know about you?
Oh, they won't know about me. God, I feel most of my life is on social media, so what you see is what you get.
Well, that's a good thing.
What they don't know about me, I always think that people aren't very interested in politicians, but they won't know about me. I don't know. I lived in France for a year when I was a student. There you go.
There you go.
A lot of people don't know about that. Do you know what I mean? And that was a really, really interesting time, quite a while ago. Do you know what I mean? Or give me an idea of the sorts of things other people have said. Do you know what I mean? They might have a clue about what people might be interested in.
I don't know. Some people, I know, you might play the flute in your spare time. Might be in a band. You might like karaoke.
Oh, I do love karaoke.
I know you do. That's what.
Karaoke before now. Good fun. Love a bit of a sing along.
On another level, I think people watching the podcast, specifically people in the town, we're going to ask the question, and it's a bit of a sore subject with everyone about health. We've looked at national statistics and seen that people living in Luton have got poorer health and more health needs. How are we going to tackle that, do you think?
That's another inequality. You know, that the health inequalities in Luton have been sadly, there was work to try and narrow that gap.
Yeah.
You know, there are different parts of the town where your life expectancy will be starkly different.
Yeah.
And actually that's, again, trying to deal with that. So some of it is over recent years, people just haven't been able to access healthcare, and it's trying to be able to get greater access to GPs or pharmacies. You know, sometimes that first call of trying to support your health needs could be going to the pharmacy. One of the things as well is about diagnostics, it's about access to screening, it's about preventative measures. And I think one of the things we want to see is greater emphasis on community stuff rather than just always having to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And it's great that the Health Board have said that there's going to be a community diagnostic centre in Luton Town Centre. It's going to be built within part of the University, you know, in Park Square.
Oh, wow.
And that will be about greater access to some of those screening tests or scans that you need, because you've got to be in those areas, because a lot of people in Luton just wouldn't be able to get to London, let alone, you know, anywhere else to get the screening or the scan they need. So that's one thing. I think a lot of the community work I've seen, lots of our GP clusters are getting out into community venues to talk to groups of women about women's health, screening they might need, you know, and encourage them to inform them about things they can do to prevent ill health later on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's breast screening or cervical screening or whatever. And so part of that is it's knowledge, it's access, and it's investment. You know, we have put in an incredible amount of investment. You know, we said we wanted to ensure that there were, you know, 18 months ago, 2 million more appointments. We've done 5 million more appointments, because one of the things is actually that first conversation about your health with you know, a GP or someone at the practice. What I was really pleased to see recently, actually, is I think it's a week or so ago, that the Health Board actually did the mobile health screening for many people who really are, you know, accessing services such as NOAA because they might be homeless.
Yeah.
And actually they have health needs too.
Yes.
And actually you need to interact with those people where they may be, where it's the most comfortable for them. It's, you know, if people have got difficulties, go to them. So I think that is a step forward to tackling health as health. But the other work we're doing, if you're living in poor accommodation or a cold home, that's going to impact your health. So the work we're trying to do, just, you know, again, we want to emphasise the Warm Homes programme. We've got £150 coming off electricity bills, for example, just to help people manage those bills a bit, you know, feel that they can actually, you know, heat their homes, for example, with simple things that impact health as much as people's, you know, actual health needs as well. So there's quite a lot going on, but it takes time to really have that impact. But I think that focus on community, focus on preventative stuff and the wider health stuff, I think is really important.
You touched on living one side of Luton and living in the other impact. Why is that? Would it impact someone's health? Someone would ask the question, why would it impact my health if I lived in North Luton as opposed to South Luton? Why would that be?
I think part of it is, people's circumstances from when they're born, their life expectancy. If you're born into a poorer household that's living in poorer quality housing with lower incomes, and in some instances, if you come from a certain ethnicity, you're likely to have poorer health outcomes than if you were born into a more prosperous family that living in, bigger, better quality housing. And that's simply by people's circumstances of birth. And that's why we do see that. So that's why the action needs to be taken to lift
The thing up
level
together.
up.
Yeah, definitely. I think another question that people will ask, and I'm going to ask the question as well, is housing. It's a big problem, isn't it? But that's nationally.
It is. We have a housing crisis after, I will point gently to the previous government that just didn't build enough housing, made it difficult for people to access housing, which is why we've recognised that. We've committed that in this government we want to see 1.5 million new homes built. There's a £39 billion investment in social housing and affordable housing. We know in Luton that we're struggling. The biggest issue that comes into my post bag as well is about housing, access to council housing and social housing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I know the council has been really trying to help people, but there's a huge waiting list. If you wanted to, overcrowding is one of the biggest issues. You've got families living in two-bed, homes where they need a 3 or a 4, but the waiting list for a council house is like 8 years. So there's some real honest conversations about how to meet those needs.
Right.
But it also links into income because a lot of people can't afford to live in the private rented sector.
Exactly.
And therefore they need support with their housing benefit or whatever. So we know that that's a big issue. We know that we've targeted investing that big programme into affordable and social housing as much as building new homes. And there's commitments from this government to focus on also, building new towns. Back 50 odd years ago, there was a number of new towns, Milton Keynes up the road, Stevenage close. That we built new towns because people needed housing.
Right.
And I think there's that emphasis that actually we could, look at some of those things again. Within, recognising that people want to live in good communities, we can not always build on green areas. We could add to, they call it sort of grey areas sometimes, those bits of land that...
Yeah.
So there's focus on trying to do a lot of those things. I think housing is, one of the big issues. Tell
us about your typical day.
Oh, God. Well... I'll start with the typical week, actually, because I think a lot of people don't realise that we, as members of Parliament, there are 650 of us across the UK. So we go to Parliament, which is, Big Ben, House of Commons, for 4 days a week. Do you know what I mean?
4 days a week? You have to travel into London?
Yeah. So, but I have colleagues who fly from Scotland, and that's why we don't start in Parliament on a Monday till 2:30.
Right.
Because people are travelling in. I've got friends who fly from Scotland or get the train from Wales or up north or whatever.
Right.
And that means business in the House of Commons chamber starts at 2:30 and we go until 10 on a Monday night. So if we have to vote on a bit of legislation, it'll be at 10 o'clock.
Right.
Tuesday, Wednesdays we're in and we vote at 7 in the evening. And then Thursdays we'll be in, start at 9:30 and go until 5. Now, we manage the business, so sometimes in the mornings on Tuesday, Wednesdays, there's committees, which are some of the background work, where we'll be scrutinising laws that are being made in the House of Commons in detail. It's not always in the big green bench chambers.
Right.
And MPs will also be having meetings. So, I'll go in, say if I go in on a Monday, I'll travel in, I'll catch up with my team in the morning, what's the week ahead looking, anything I need to prep for. Then the day in Parliament always starts with one of the government departments, the Secretary of State and Ministers handling questions on that topic area.
Right.
And MPs can go in and ask questions. Then it will move into the business of what we do. We make laws. So we make laws, we scrutinise laws, we debate them, and then we vote on them. And that will happen sort of through the day. Now, sometimes you've got a particular bit of law legislation that you want to talk about. You'll be in for the whole debate and you'll be in for the number of hours. Other times it's you'll just be voting on, whether you think it should go through, whether you agree with any amendments to it. And that's sort of what we do. Mondays to Wednesdays, absolutely, often on a Thursday. But if not, we may be in Parliament on a Thursday because there'll be other sorts of debates about they're called backbench debates about issues that are really important to our constituents, for example. And we use our platforms to challenge government, ask questions of government about particular issues that might not be part of law, or to sort of raise awareness. And that links to a lot of people get in touch with MPs. I'm going to write to my MP. Well, they email their MPs or shout at them on social media to tell us about the things that matter to them, so that we can raise them in Parliament. So that's Monday to Thursday. Fridays, you're in the constituency and you do visits, you hold surgeries where you meet people and talk to them. They talk to you about some of their issues, like school visits, or visit businesses, visit charities, or go to community events. And again, some weekends we'll be out and about. It's when we knock on doors and annoy people, but knock on doors and listen to what people's concerns are, what are the big issues for them. Again, lots of community stuff happens on the weekends, so you'll be out and about. And then in and amongst that, you've got to try and get your washing done and see the other half, etc.
Have some sort of
bit of downtime.
But that doesn't happen. When's that happen on a Sunday?
Yeah, now and then. But then there's stuff happening on Sundays. So
it's a continual role, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're always working.
I'm so privileged. And, sometimes you're out and about in the community, and so I might say I'm working on Saturday, but I'm not working. I'm going out and meeting people. And as an MP, you've got to be a people person.
100%.
You've got to enjoy seeing people, listening to people, joining in, understanding, and some of the stuff that goes on in Luton is fantastic. So I love what I do. I've spoken to
Sarah.
Oh yeah.
I met Sarah at her office in Marsh Road.
Yeah.
And we've spoken to James. He's been in on a podcast as well.
Yeah, he's my counsellor.
There's so much happening in Hightown. Yeah. It's amazing. We went on Saturday to the Christmas market. Yeah. It was so busy.
Yeah,
I was shocked at how, some of our team from here done marshalling.
Oh, lovely.
So we supported.
Fantastic.
And we're supporting every initiative. We work with Isaac Brown as well.
Yes, love Isaac.
He's amazing.
Yeah, brilliant.
So working really closely with him to make sure our community engagement is visible and we're helping. But I was really shocked at how busy it was. It was great. It was really, really, it's nice to see that energy coming back to the town. Yeah. Because we've lost it for quite a long time.
And I think again, sometimes it was, these things take people's effort and energy and a little bit of funding. And I think people got to the point where it was either they'd run out of effort and energy or they couldn't get hold of the funding. But actually, there are so many little pockets that are coming out. And I really like the fact that this year, the council has just got Christmas trees in each ward area. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I went to the South Ward, Christmas lights turn on, and I think they did the Hightown on Saturday.
Yeah.
And little things like that. Just important. A little focus point, bring people together. That goes back to that democracy point. We're all citizens and we're all equal. So when you're just standing around a Christmas tree or you go into a community event, we're all even Stephens. We're all, Lutonians. And I think that's really important. That it brings people together regardless of who they are.
Exactly. With regard to small businesses, that's another question. How are we supporting small businesses to still thrive in a town that's really has struggled over a number of years to?
Yeah, Luton is known for being one of the top areas for startups, and I think that's our entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah, you can look at some of the stats, and I must admit, sometimes about finding premises, but there's lots of sole traders, individuals who start off and then they sort of grow their business. So that entrepreneurial innovation is there in Luton. And I think that's also because Luton is a little bit cheaper than, say, London. So people say, actually, I'm going to start up here.
You're right.
But it is tough. And it goes back to people. People need customers or, clients who's got a few quid in their pocket to be able to thrive. Some of the stuff we want to do, there was stuff coming out of COVID where the business rates for sort of leisure and hospitality and leisure were reduced temporarily. Our government's recognised actually we need to help our high streets thrive. So we've brought in a reduced business rates full stop now. I know overall I think small businesses are adjusting to some of the decisions we've made. Right. But we also want to see growth. So we want to see people with decent jobs and decent wages, which will help with our small businesses, because when people spend their money, that helps small businesses. Yeah. And one of the other things we've got, and I should make sure I mention it, and it'd be really good to get people's views on, is in Luton, we've won £1.5 million Pride in Place funding.
Yeah, I read that last week.
Yeah, and
amazing.
so it's for those small little pots of things or little projects that we think that can make a difference, whether it's for a green space area or for a sort of a high street area, not necessarily the big town centre, but any of our little high street areas, or community venues. What can we make a difference? You know, do we need to paint the fence over there? Does that park need a new bench? Or could we kit out a small, I don't know, small community venues that matter? You know, like some of the the halls of brownies or guides or whatever. But it's what people think they want to see happen, what's valuable to them.
Right.
So I've got a survey on my website as well, and it's on my social media. And anyone who wants to tell me what they think would be good, how could we spend some of this money across Luton? We've got 1.5 million for the next 2 years. And it can be small things,
right?
You know, as much as can we have a big thing over here? Because we know often we can bring back that pride in place by some of these small projects where, you know, we fix things, we lick a paint for this or that, you know, we add some facilities, we sort the play park out for the kids, anything like that.
So just get in touch.
Yeah, do the survey. The council's got to hold the ring on the money. But myself and Sarah Owen in Luton North, we really have got a say in what we want to see. So that's why we've both been doing a survey to find out what our residents want to see.
So both yourself and Sarah go on to there.
Yeah, either of it. We've got the survey running for both of us because it's the whole of Luton, and we were really pleased to have got that money. And it's those bits and bobs that bring a bit of pride back, you know,
into the town. Definitely.
Yeah.
Question everyone's going to ask is about the football stadium.
Yeah.
When's it happening?
Well, I mean, I want to speak to Gary Sweet as much as anybody else.
We've seen this blue fence for so long.
Yeah, I think the financing was hit by COVID. We don't know about that. Subsequently, it's about the wider stuff because there's the football stadium, which we all want to see. Yeah. But also, obviously, the development will include other facilities and a lump of housing. I think there's been some adjustments to the housing element, but my understanding is it 27, 28? It's got football clubs work in seasons. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't have a new stadium halfway through a season. So fingers crossed. But I think we need to keep an eye out.
It's another couple of years then, hopefully.
I think so, but hopefully
it should be up and
hopefully we'll hear more from the club
from Gary. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean about when
Gary
really
and David?
More diggers.
Yes. Yeah. David was due to come on podcast yesterday, but unfortunately there's some club business. So. If Gary and David are watching, then let's get them on the podcast because it's a burning question on all these hard fans that pay their money.
Yeah, I know. And also, I mean, Gary always writes in his notes in the programme, doesn't he, about where we're at. So maybe he'll be waiting for a little Christmas present, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe.
With an update. There you go, Gary.
There you go, Gary.
Let him know.
Give us an update on what's happening because it's such an integral part of this town, isn't it? The
100%.
Club.
It's so much part of our identity.
It is. You know? It really is. Everyone goes Luton Town. Everyone goes, oh yeah, airport and then football. Well, hopefully get them on to clear up the questions that everyone's burning to know. But it's lovely to see. I've lived in Luton all my life.
Me too.
So it's lovely to see. Did you go to Mason's opening night?
Oh, I couldn't. No,
I wasn't here.
No,
I was on a work Christmas do.
But it's great to see people coming back into the town and wanting to do stuff like the old days.
Yeah,
you know, there was always
something going on.
Yeah.
So that's congratulations to everyone that's behind Masons, and I hope that it goes from strength to strength. What they're doing now is on a Saturday, which is lovely for those people that don't have a season ticket. You can go in and watch the football. That's great.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
And then for the students on a Wednesday and Thursday night from the university, they can go in, have a meal, watch whatever games on, Champions League, whatever.
It. Yeah.
Great idea. So, Andrea, well done, because my friend Andrea is a manager there. So well done. And to anyone that's behind that, thinking we needed something back in the because we used to have so many places.
Absolutely.
Well, I know, I remember.
Exactly, me too.
Very well. But it's been lovely having you on.
Thank you, and I've enjoyed it. I hope people get a lot out of it. But if anyone ever wants to ask me a question or tell me what they think, got the usual emails, got the social medias.
Yeah, great.
Rachel Hopkins MP. Tell me what you think. Really important.
And we know Amy's sitting very quietly over there, but we But we will bring Amy back at some stage and maybe ask about the day in the life of the mayor of Luton.
Absolutely.
Because we'd really love to know more about that. People love to know when they see these sparkly, I call them, necklaces, they think, what does that person do?
Yeah. She's got more. Amy, come in. Amy, come.
Amy, come on in.
People know who we're talking about.
So we're talking about, yes, because I met the mayor of Dunstable, Sally.
There we go.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh. You in? You are now.
Right.
Hello.
This is Amy. She's mayor of Luton. She's our first citizen. This year, she's more important than me. Do you know what I mean? Because she gets to do all the important civic stuff. You know, and she is doing a brilliant job.
An honorary title, but it does make you second only to the royal family.
There you go. There you go. That's why she gets to wear the bling.
That's you get to wear the bling.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
But Amy's elected as well, so that's again part of democracy. So Amy's a local councillor up in Northwell, Marsh Farm area. And so
area.
There you go.
Lovely.
So she represents her local people in that area and obviously, you know, takes decisions in the town hall as a local councillor and part of the administration. But equally, in the year of being a mayor, you are sort of the neutral first citizen as well.
Exactly, yeah. And that's an interesting balance because on the one hand, you're a councillor, so you are inherently political. But on the other hand, you have to be a sort of politically neutral figure when you're acting as the mayor. It's quite an interesting juxtaposition.
Because you represent everybody. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, okay. What's lovely that's happened in Marsh Farm, and I'm happy to say, they had the lovely Christmas market at Lee Manor High School. I wasn't here, I was in Dubai, but my son went. He said it was amazing. And that's the first time. They used to have a market on a Wednesday and a Saturday.
Yeah.
And as you know, my mother-in-law was always, because she looked after my kids there, she always had them there. So it's lovely to see that regeneration happening on Marsh Farm. It's lovely to see things are now happening in Futures, in the Futures building, which is a huge facility.
Yes.
And that's nice that community engagement's happening there. Marsh House has been regenerated on a Friday night. It's insane. I haven't been because I'm usually in bed, but they say it's a really good night out, and it's just, it's love. The way they light it up is so lovely, because that roundabout, the Three Horseshoes, is inherent, isn't it, for being a landmark in Luton. So it's lovely that the people of Marsh Farm feel, and it kind of covers Hockwell Ring, and Lucy as well. Lots of things happening in Lucy Farm, with the the Lucy Learning Centre. Lots of initiatives happening there. So part of my role as liaison is to get out and identify all these little things that are happening to make sure that the people of Luton have access to food if they need it, a safe space if they need that, and a place to sit and come together. I've recently had the Over 50s Black Men's Forum.
Yes.
Yes, my husband's now joined. He's now going to play table tennis every Wednesday at the Co-op Club. He loves it.
Yeah.
So that was an ask from Sarah. So she said, get in touch with Chidi. And obviously that was actually discussed at Parliament level, wasn't it? Where Sarah actually made that, not a big speech, but highlighted the need for these kind of things to happen.
They're a really lovely group. I went to their competition recently where it was, black men table tennis little teams from across the region.
Yeah.
As far as Southend and South East
Chelmsford,
London.
They covered
and
a huge area.
They did their awards, and it was really heartwarming event. Really, just old men coming together. But,
still competitive, I bet.
Oh, it is.
It was so.
My husband went for the first time. He said they were so competitive,
so unbearably competitive. But at the same time, it's about building friendships and that whole health and wellbeing aspect.
Yes,
just coming together and talking about those issues.
Great, brilliant.
We'd like to have you back.
Yeah, Amy's got so much more she could tell you about her year as mayor. So.
Yes.
Oh, well, mate, if we're out of time, I'm happy to come back and do a quick.
Yes,
definitely.
We definitely would, because I know you're busy, but I'm really grateful that you're going to be opening our new office.
Yes.
Which is, we've outgrown this building.
Yeah.
Which is a testament to the work that everyone does here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing all the exciting things that happen, Rachel, in the next
Hopefully.
few months and few
Definitely.
years.
Definitely.
And
We
it's
wanna see
lovely
more.
to see more things happening, because working alongside Love Luton Rising now as well,
Yeah.
to
really
make
good.
sure that whatever comes into the town stays and it's profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good for everybody. So
It is.
Everyone grows together. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing.
Yeah. And we'll talk about Universal Studios next time.
Oh, blimey, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.